Alright, so it's time for another book club review section thing. We started this week reading What We Forgot to Bury. We read the prologue through chapter 13. And oh boy, am I tired of suspense at this point. I had such a rough time with this book. I read through the prologue and did okay, and then I got to like chapter 2 when we first get Charlotte's perspective, and I was like, I don't want to read this. So it took me a lot longer so far to get through this than the other ones have. But it did pick up a bit once I finally got through that first chapter of Charlotte's that I struggled with so much. So it's not completely awful, and honestly the story isn't even that bad. I'm just really tired of suspense, and I'm really tired of the way that this is written, because Elle's going around trying to reveal Charlotte's secrets or punish her for her secrets or whatever, but it just keeps being like, and I know all her secrets, instead of ever telling us any of them. And I thought the whole point was to start revealing secrets, and yes, we're only like a fourth of the way in, but I'm sick of beating around the bush, and I just want to get to what the secrets are so that it feels like the story has somewhere that it's going, versus it just being like, I know your secrets, and so I'm going to try to get close to you. So that's where I'm at with that. I am in charge of discussion questions again for this one, and since I haven't been engaging very strongly with this one, the questions were all pretty basic, and we can cover them really, really fast. The first thing I asked was people's opinions on the prologue, and for me, I have to say that the prologue was overall not a bad start to the story. It did have sort of suspense and things to it, but it was also very confusing the way it was written. Elle is like talking to her grandma's friend, and they were playing a game or something, and then they get a phone call and she answers, and it's supposed to be for her mom, but her mom is like sleeping on the couch and doesn't want to deal with it, so she gives the phone to her grandma's friend, and he talks to the person, and then he's like, alright, Elle, you gotta go out, go get us some Coke and stuff, and is clearly like sending her away because there's some big thing that's been revealed on the phone. So we have that, and then she goes off, and then she comes back, and she finds her dad along the way, and then there's police that show up, and then her dad gets taken away. And I was just very confused by the order of events, like, why were the police already seemingly there before her father was there? How did they know her father was coming? All these things that I was just like, what? And maybe I misread some of it, I don't know, but I was very confused by it overall, and kind of seeing where some of the story is leading to, having read up to chapter 13 now. I think maybe Charlotte is the one who was on the phone, and she did something that was like condemning evidence that put the father in jail, maybe? Because that is kind of the implication I'm getting, that Charlotte is the reason Elle's father is in jail now. But I don't know. I just don't know. And I'm also kind of frustrated with just like the general setup too, because reading the back of the book, it sounded like it was going to be like one big intense night. It'll be the stormy night, and Elle comes up to Charlotte's house and ends up revealing all these secrets over the course of this stormy weather night, so that like the stormy weather is like implicative of all the creepy things that she's revealing or whatever. And no, it's not that. That night was like a chapter, or maybe two, since I think they both had a perspective part on it, but I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't get where this story is going or what it's trying to do. And so I just want secrets to start finally being revealed instead of talking around them, especially at least like in Elle's head, because when I think about things like that, I don't feel like I'm like, I know your secret. It's more like, I know you did this, this, and this kind of a thing, so it doesn't feel very realistic reading it, even though I understand why they're hiding the secrets, because the reveal is supposed to be part of the journey of reading and whatever. But I'm just very frustrated with the whole thing. I will say that one thing that really got me is if you read the dedication for this book, it says that it's for women who've suffered miscarriages, and when I read that dedication, I was like, oh yikes, what have I gotten myself into? This doesn't sound like a fun topic to read about, and it's not entirely confirmed, but it seems like Charlotte is pregnant, and so I don't know if, since she's referenced some bad things in her past indirectly, if in the past she had a miscarriage, and that's part of some of her trauma, or if this one will also be a miscarriage or the only miscarriage, but I'm a little concerned about when that part comes up, because I don't know that I want to read that, but we'll see. Maybe it'll at least add interest to the story to finally get things like that revealed, because I suspect that it probably is at the very least that Charlotte had a miscarriage in the past, and that's part of her trauma, but we'll see. Oh, I forgot about the other question. So I asked about the prologue for one of them, and then I also asked what people thought Charlotte and Elle's relationship is, and I guess I kind of already talked about that with my discussion of the prologue, that it seems like Charlotte turned in Elle's father. I almost wonder if maybe it was that Charlotte was dating Elle's father, because we do have kind of a past relationship that was mentioned with her. And that maybe she found out that Elle's father had like a secret other family kind of story, because I know that's kind of a tropey thing to put into books. And so that's part of why she wanted to put him in jail, is after he ended up accidentally killing someone, because there's like a manslaughter car accident thing that got brought up at one point that's part of why he's in jail. And so I think maybe that's kind of the relationship going on, is that he accidentally killed someone drunk driving, and then through Charlotte's evidence and being like, oh, I was dating him, and he's got this secret other family, I just want him locked away kind of a thing, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. So I think that's basically how they're related. Although when I was first reading it, I thought that Charlotte was going to turn out to be Elle's mom, and I was very confused why she wouldn't know her own daughter, because Elle was like 7 in the prologue. But yeah, I don't think that's the route it's going to go. Maybe it could be like an aunt or something, but I don't think they'll be like family relations based on what we've gotten so far. And then I think the only other question I asked was, do you think that Noah, who is Charlotte's husband, is actually a really hard worker and is just gone all the time on business stuff, or do you think that her fears are actually true and that he's going to be ending up to be like cheating on her and stuff? And at this point, I feel like it could go either way. I could see this laying the foundation of she's an unreliable narrator because she's got all these fears and traumas, and she's going to therapy to try and deal with them, and so she's trying to cope with that, and obviously is just suspicious because of that part of her nature. But he also does seem to work a lot, and pretty much every time we've seen him so far in the book, it's like he's calling her up and he's like, hey, I'm coming home, but I actually have to go again, or they're extending my trip kind of a thing. So it does seem awfully suspicious that like every single time he's getting these trips extended and stuff. So we'll see how that goes, I guess. But yeah, so again, like I said, not like an awful book or anything, but I'm just having a hard time connecting with it, and I hope that we start revealing some secrets soon, because I'm just tired of the secrets. But that's all I've got for now. If you happen to have read this and can give me encouragement to keep going, that'd be great. If you have your own thoughts having read this far in it, feel free to share down below. That's all I've got to say for now. This is the Umlaut Harper signing out.